So today is kind of a recap of all the videos that I've deleted, but also an update of my life and what's going on right now. To start off with the very beginning, I've switched my majors so many times. I went from biology as a pre-dental student to kinesiology as a pre-physical therapy student, and then for a little bit I was back on exercise science for medical dosimetry, which is a program at MD Anderson, and then I went to computer information systems, and that's the current major I'm at. But instead of being at U of H from the Sugar Land campus, I'm at UHCL. So I actually did transfer, and in another video I talked about wanting to transfer to UHCL because U of H was not honest with their scholarships, and they promised you if you have like a 2.5 or a 3.0 GPA and you're a full-time student, you are granted the Cougar Promise. Freshman year I received it. Sophomore year it looked like I received it but didn't receive it, and then we went to the financial aid office and 3 different advisors we spoke to said I got it, someone said I didn't get it, and then someone said I got it. And going into junior year, so we're now in summer 2023, a financial aid advisor had said that I actually did not receive the Cougar Promise my sophomore year. So during that time when we found out I didn't have that extra financial aid, and I was in the middle of switching my majors for, I think it was the 4th time, to computer information systems, my parents wanted me to transfer to UHCL because, again, CIS was offered at Sugar Land and they didn't want me to commute from League City to Houston and Sugar Land. So I'm currently at UHCL, but here's that but. During that summer of 2023, UH had actually came out with an integrated studies major, which is something that I was looking at, during the whole summer because I have no idea what I want to do. I actually applied at U of H to do integrated studies. So you might be wondering, okay, if you applied to integrated studies, why did you transfer to UHCL? So my mom kind of gave me an ultimatum where at UH I'd be taking 4 credits and at UHCL I'd be taking 5+ credits, and with the transfer scholarship it was actually cheaper to go to UHCL. So she offered that if I went to UHCL, she would help me pay for half my tuition, but if I went to U of H, she wouldn't. And she had told me that right before I was about to drop the UHCL classes. So I'm saying this because I was going to choose integrated studies at U of H. And yes, I understand it's a crappy major. I've done my research, but this is me wanting to just get a degree and hoping for the best. This is me barely making it through. This is me making a quick, indecisive decision. Quick, not really quick, but an indecisive decision just to get things over with because I'm tired. I hate school. I used to be a good student in high school, and then college happened and I don't know. I'm taking an introduction to CIS at UHCL and it's the worst class ever. It's really easy. I just hate it. I don't understand what's happening. I'm not interested in the topics. Whereas everyone either understands or they're just, going through the motions like me because it's easy. But I actually hate it. The computer science class, it's computer science 2. We're learning Java, and this is actually my first programming language. I actually enjoy programming, I guess. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the first midterm. It was 2 parts. Part 1 was online, and it was 35 multiple choice questions with 25 minutes, and I did not finish. Yay me. Part 2 was a written exam where we had to correct the code, and we had to actually write code and output code. And this was all written. No computers were allowed. It was very hard to actually write that down when you can't see your output, or if there was any output. So that's my current experience with CIS. I'm actually going back to U of H in integrated studies because my mom told me that this spring semester she can't help me pay tuition. So either way, I'd be taking out loans, and at UHCL I would be taking out loans for 2 years, about 2 years, versus at U of H it would be 1 year. Besides my whole, majors and college sucking, I injured my back. I was doing safety squat bar and it just didn't feel right. And that went on for 2 months. And this is something that I regret because I think it was the 3rd week I had scheduled an orthopedic appointment. And then I canceled that appointment because my parents thought it would be better to see a chiropractor. So I went to a chiropractor for the next month and he tried his best, but it didn't help. He wanted me to get an MRI, so that's when I went to my parents and said, hey, can we schedule an orthopedic appointment? Because my back was not feeling any better. It didn't really progress, but it didn't get better. And so we did, and I got an x-ray done. Nothing's really wrong with my back. She just said it was a really bad strain in my lower back, and it's my lower left back. So again, in the x-ray, she said everything was fine. I did have straightening of normal lumbar lordosis, and she said that was due to the muscle strain. And I was like, okay. But she did say no lifting for at least a week to a month. That was my worst fear. I know people have other fears, and I do too, but lifting is something I'm very passionate in. It's the only thing that I feel good at and what I know I'm good at. And she said I couldn't do it. So I did start crying, and she sent me to PT. Yesterday was my first PT appointment, and he said 2 weeks to 3 months of no lifting, no exercising, no running. I can walk for 20 minutes and I can maybe cycle for 5 minutes or until I feel pain. Other than that, I can't do anything. And then after the PT appointment, my back was hurting so much, like a pain that I hadn't really felt before since squatting because it lingered, and usually the pain is just when I like move. But this time it was just constant. Sorry, my camera died. In the beginning, I had accepted that because my back hurts, I had to skip my leg days. I actually told my coach about my back pain, and he modified the program where I was doing more accessory lifts and front squats. He wanted me to do the back squats, but some days I would skip it because it just really hurt my back. And he talked about how I should be doing it to desensitize my body that I'm okay. But again, sometimes it just didn't feel right. But I was still progressing in my upper body days, like my bench and my arm accessories. Some of the back work I couldn't do, like cable rows, because it put a lot of strain on my back. But I was still able to do a vertical pulling motion, which wasn't a problem. And I could do any horizontal movements as long as it's chest supported. So I was still able to work out. And then I had asked the physical therapist if I can still do the upper body workouts because my pain didn't worsen, but it didn't improve like I've said before. And he still wanted me to take 2 weeks off and then we'll go on from there. Just how the orthopedic doctor said, take a week to a month off and then we'll go from there. Yesterday, again, my first PT appointment, it was very, very rough for me. Again, I cried because I was in so much pain and I just couldn't fathom not lifting. Again, I'm very passionate about it and I know people don't understand that it's something different for me and I'm still dealing with it. Some nights I cry and some days I cry even, and it's just difficult because it's something that I love and I can't do it right now. And a lot of things have changed in my routine because I worked out 5 to 6 days a week and now I'm not working out at all. And I've always been a student athlete and an active kid, and I've been lifting seriously since 2020. And now I can't compete in the Cougar Classics or Collegiate Nationals or any meets for the time being because I can't lift. But I understand it's a slow process. What I don't understand, this is me being stubborn, is why I can't do upper body workouts. But I trust the therapist and the doctor. I trust them. I trust them. I trust them. I just gotta keep telling myself I trust them. Because hopefully I'll be benching 160 and squatting, I want 275 and deadlifting over 300 pounds. Those are my goals. And I want to hold a state record someday. That's a little update. This is me complaining, recapping of all my videos, how University of Houston took my funds away. So I switched to UHCL, going back to U of H because of their major, and I can't lift. The thing that I loved the most throughout my whole college career, the only thing that I loved was lifting, and I can't do that anymore, so now I'm just depressed.